So remember to take notes while watching these videos. Topic for this video is solving linear equations. So first off, what is a linear equation? So here's an example of a linear equation that needs to be solved. Okay, we know that this is an equation that needs to be solved. Equation, we've got an equal sign. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the value of the variable x so that the left-hand side equals the right-hand side. No, this is a linear equation because our only variable that we see here, x, is raised to the first power. So that's what makes it linear. Okay, so if we had to solve this, our goal is to isolate the variable. So to get x by itself, we have to undo everything that's happened on the left-hand side. So we want to take away 1, that gives us 4. Divide by 2, because it's 2 times x, so we divide by 2 to undo it. What you do to one side, you have to make sure you do to the other. So x equals 2, and remember you can always check your work, plug it back in. 2 times 2 plus 1 equals 5. 2 times 2, that's 4 plus 1, 5 equals 5. Right, so our answer is x equals 2. So we're just going to solve linear equations. Okay, so number 1, let's do 5x plus 11 minus 2x equals 9. Okay, so in this equation that we are trying to solve, we're trying to find the value of x that's going to make this equation true. If you notice, okay, you can't just start getting x by itself yet because you have x's that are on the same side of the equation. We have a 5x and a negative 2x, so we need to combine those. Remember, they're on the same side, so you're just combining there. 5x minus 2x, that's going to put us at 3x plus 11 equals 9. Okay, now we get x by itself, 3x plus 11. We want to take away the positive 11, so we subtract 11 from both sides. That's going to leave us with 3x equals 9 minus 11. That's going to put us at negative 2. So now we have 3x equals negative 2. X times 3, so how do we get x by itself? Because that's what we want. We want to find its value. Divide by 3. Well, if you divide by the left, you have to divide by the right. So that gives you x equals negative 2/3. So you can plug negative 2/3 and check to make sure that the left-hand side equals the right-hand side. So that's number 1. Number 2, okay. 2x plus 1 minus 3x equals 4x plus 10. This is still solving a linear equation. We have x, and it's only raised to the first power, so that's what makes it linear. We're trying to get the value of x that makes the left-hand side equal the right-hand side. Notice we've got a lot going on here. First off, notice what we've got is we've got x's on the left that need to be combined, and we have x's on the right, but we can't just combine them because they're on opposite sides of the equation. So the first thing I want to do is I want to combine the ones that are on the same side. So that's 2x minus 3x. That's going to put us at negative x plus 1 equals 4x plus 10. Now when you're solving, you do not want x's on both sides of the equation. So we need to move them over to the other side. Now in order to do that, it doesn't matter what side you choose to be on with your x's, but you shouldn't have them on both sides of the equation. So this is a negative 1x. If I don't want that on the left-hand side, I'd have to have x, add x, so that they cancel each other out. Opposite, right? Negative 1x, so add 1x. So if I add 1x to both sides, okay, I'm just going to be left with positive 1 equals 4x plus x, 5x plus 10. Now I want to get x by itself, so I need to start doing the operation so that x is by itself, undo everything. So we're going to take away 10, and if I take away 10 from the right side of the equation, I need to make sure I take away 10 from the left side of the equation as well. So that's going to give me 1 minus 10, that's going to give me negative 9 equals 5x. Get 5 by itself, to get x by itself, we have to divide by 5, so x equals negative 9/5, and you don't have to write it as a decimal, you could just leave it as a fraction. X equals negative 9/5. Number 3, okay, notice in number 3, we've got x's all over the place, and we also have parentheses. So the first thing we want to do is distribute the parentheses. So 2 times x plus 1, that's going to be 2x, and then 2 times 1, that's going to be plus 2, and then we just have this plus 2 outside. Now we have to distribute the 5 to the x and the negative 7, so that's going to give us 5x minus 35, and then what else you still have there is plus 1. So let's see, always look to combine sides of the equations. So I have positive 2 and a positive 2 on the left-hand side, so it's going to give me positive 4. So this is 2x plus 4 equals, I've got a negative 35 and a positive 1, so the right-hand side is going to be 5x, negative 35 plus 1, negative 34, okay? Now I've got x's on both sides, and I don't want x's on both sides, just on one, so I have to move my x's so that they're only on one side. So I'll make them leave the left-hand side here. So I take away 2x. If I take away 2x from the left, I have to make sure I take away 2x from the right. This is going to be 4 equals 5x minus 2x, 3x minus 34. Add 34 to both sides, right? We're trying to get x by itself. So 38 equals 3x. Divide by 3. And x equals 38 over 3. All right, now let's go into special cases here, okay? Special cases. There are 2 kinds of special cases when solving linear equations. Number 4, so we'll do 1/2 times 4x plus 10 equals 2x minus 20. Okay, so the first thing we want to do here is distribute the 1/2, okay? So this is 1/2 times 4x, so that's going to be 1/2 times 4 over 1x. Okay, that's going to be 4 over 2, so 1/2 times 2, that's going to give us 2x. Half of 10, that's going to give us 5. 2x plus 5 equals 2x minus 20, so you distribute, so you don't have any parentheses. And now, we don't want x's on both sides of the equation, so if I don't want them on the left-hand side, this is positive 2x, I would take away 2x, and look what's going to happen. When I take away 2x, it actually cancels out the x's on both sides. And I'm left with a false, this is a false statement, okay? 5 is not the same value as negative 20. The reason you're getting this is because your statement said 2x plus 5 equals 2x minus 20. If I plug in any number for x, 2x is going to remain the same on the left and the right-hand side, the value. And so you're taking 2x, you're adding 5, and then you're taking 2x and subtracting 20. If x is some number, the left-hand side can never equal the right-hand side. So when your x's cancel out, and you're left with a statement that's false, 5 does not equal negative 20. So when you have no variables and you just have a constant number equals a constant number, if this is a false statement, then this is when you have no solution. There is no value of x that can ever make 2x plus 5 equal 2x minus 20. Okay, because these would always be the same when you plug a number in for x, and then you'd be adding 5 and taking away 20. You'll never be at the same spot. Okay? It's like if you were in a race with someone and you guys had the exact same speed, and someone started 20 meters behind you and you got a 5-meter start. If you're going the same speed, right, you're never going to reach each other, okay? You'll always be that separation apart. Number 5, let's do 5x plus 2 minus x equals 4x plus 4 minus 2. Okay, so we're going to want to clean up each side of the equation here. So on the left-hand side, we've got this 5x, this negative x. That's going to give us 4x plus 2. The right-hand side, we've got this 4 minus 2. That's going to give us 4x plus 2. Okay, we don't want x on the same side. Okay, that's going to give us 2 equals 2. So the x's cancel out. We're left with a constant equals a constant, but they're the same. Okay, this is when you have infinite solutions. So what that means is x can be any real number, and this will work. Okay, the left-hand side will always equal the right-hand side. That's because look what the statement was. 4x plus 2 equals 4x plus 2. They're the same. So no matter what you plug in for x, if you plug in x equals 1, you're going to have 4 times 1 plus 2 equals 4 times 1 plus 2. The left equals the right. If you plug in x equals 0, 4 times 0 plus 2 equals 4 times 0 plus 2. No matter what you plug in for x, the left-hand side will always equal the right-hand side. Algebraically, when you solve, you get that when your x's cancel out and you're left with a constant equals a constant, and that those constant values are the same. Okay, so now we're going to go over writing linear equations. So when you write a linear equation, okay, we'll write them in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, okay? And so remember how to calculate the slope of a line. To calculate the slope of a line, okay, m, you have to do the change in y over the change in x, which remember, that comes from 2 separate coordinate points that are on your line. So as long as you have 2 points, you can calculate the slope. Okay. So for all of these, okay, we're going to write the linear equation in slope-intercept form. That, and we're going to write dot, 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 number 1, okay, that has a slope of 2 and passes through the point 1, 7. So first, let's write the equation down, y equals mx plus b. So we're going to write the equation of a line with a slope of 2, and, because there's an infinite number of lines that have a slope of 2, but there's only one unique line that has a slope of 2 and passes through the point 1, 7. So we write this down. Now we know what the slope is, so we know what m is. M is 2. Okay? So the only part of the name or the equation of the line that we don't have is the b value. We don't have its y-intercept, okay? So what we do is we use this other point that we have. We know that 1, 7 makes this equation true, okay? We talked about it earlier in another video. All of the points that make up a line make the equation true. So what we do is we're going to plug in 1, 7, and we're going to find the correct b value for this equation. So 7 equals 2 times 1 plus b. So 7 equals 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus b, get b by itself, so we take away 2. So b equals 5. So the y-intercept is 5. So the equation is y equals 2x plus 5. Okay? If you have a point that falls on the line, you can always plug it in, because notice y equals 2x plus b. We have 3 unknowns, and we need to solve for b. If you're going to solve for one of the unknowns, you can't have multiple unknowns. So b can be the only variable. So x, y, you plug in the point x comma y, 1 comma 7. Okay. Number 2. Passes through the points -2 comma 5 and 2 comma 25. Okay, so we're going to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, that passes through these 2 points. So we don't have the slope and we don't have the y-intercept. So in order to find the slope, okay, we need to use our 2 points. Okay, remember, slope is change in y over change in x. So y2 is 25 minus y1 is 5, while x2 is 2 minus x1 is -2. 25 minus 5, that's 20. 2 minus -2, that's really 2 plus 2. That's 4. And can we simplify this down? Yes, 20 over 4 is 5. So our slope of this line is 5. Y equals 5x plus b. So if you're only given 2 points of the line, the first thing you do is you find the slope of the line. Now we just need to find the y-intercept of the line. And now we can either choose to plug in this point or this point. It does not matter. So I'll plug in the first point. So we're going to plug in -2, 5, and that's going to allow us to find b. Or you can plug in 225. It does not matter. Okay, so 5 equals 5 times -2 plus b. Just make sure you have to plug this entire one in. This has to be x, this has to be y. So that's going to be 5 equals -10 plus b. Add 10 to both sides, and you get 15 equals b. So this is going to be y equals 5x plus 15. And you get the same y-intercept whether or not you plugged in -2, 5 or 225. So this is what you have to do when you have 2 points given to you and you need to write its equation. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. Number 3. Okay, we're going to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that's parallel to y equals -3x plus 1 and passes through 110. So let's remember from geometry and algebra 1 what it means to be parallel. If 2 lines are parallel, they never intersect, and that is because they have the same slope but different y-intercepts. So the same slope. So we're writing the equation of a line, y equals mx plus b. It needs to be parallel to this line. So that means it needs to have the same slope as this line. So what is the slope of this line? The slope of this line is -3. So that means the slope of the line we're writing the equation of also has to be -3 because it needs to be parallel. So that means the equation of the slope of the equation of the line we're writing has to be -3x. Now what we don't know is what is the y-intercept of this line in number 3? Well, we know it passes through this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in 1 comma 10, and that's going to allow us to find the value of b. So it's going to be 10 equals -3 times 1 plus b. So it's going to be 10 equals -3 plus b. Add 3, and we get 13 equals b. So the equation of the line is y equals -3x plus 13. So that's going to be parallel to this line and pass through this line. Because there are an infinite number of lines that would be parallel to any one given line, but only one specifically goes through the point 110. And one more problem. Number 4. perpendicular to y equals 1/2 x plus 4 and passes through 1, 5. So perpendicular means they form a 90-degree angle. That means that their slopes are opposite reciprocals. Now, opposite reciprocals means if you have 1/2, the opposite reciprocal would be, reciprocal means you flip it, so 2/1, and then you make it the opposite sign. So if this is positive, that means -2 would be the opposite reciprocal. So what we have here, perpendicular to this line, okay, so what's the slope of this line? The slope of this line is 1/2. So we need the opposite reciprocal value of positive 1/2. So reciprocal means you flip it and then you change the sign, so it would be -2. So the line we're trying to write, y equals mx plus b, the slope has to be -2. Y equals -2x plus b. And now b, how do we find that? We're going to plug in the point we have, 1, 5. That's going to allow us to find b. 5 equals -2 times 1 plus b. 5 equals -2 plus b. Add 2, we get b equals 7. So the equation here would be y equals -2x plus 7. So this is going to be perpendicular to this line, meaning it has the opposite reciprocal slope, and it passes through 1, 5.